and welcome to another episode of the Positude Podcast. You all know me by now. I'm your host, Maggie Heart, and I'm sitting here on my big comfy couch with my big cup of coffee, and I'm freezing. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sitting here in this big, really comfy, fleecy coat kind of thing with a hood, and it's really warm and really fuzzy and cozy. It's got bears all over it. I got a bunch of them. A cross between like a sweater and a three-quarter coat. They're amazing for lounging around the house when it's chilly or sitting around a campfire, because I'm just not into those modern quilt things with legs or whatever they are, walking around with a blanket. No, I don't want to look like I rolled out of bed and I've got my comforter stuck to me. Those modern day snugglies or whatever they are, I just can't get with them. I prefer the rustic nature stuff. I discovered these back in the 80s. In fact, Marilyn from Northern Exposure wore one, if you guys have ever watched that show, but they're super warm, super comfy, and I can transition from inside on my comfy couch to taking out the puppies without having to put on a jacket, and it's just super cozy and convenient. I just throw up my hood and take the pups out and I'm good to go. Coupled with my fleece-lined leggings and my long-sleeve t-shirt, I'm staying cozy and warm inside, and I'm protected from the elements when I step outdoors. And I've got a couple different thicknesses too. I've got a couple that are good for spring and fall and a couple that are really good for this time of year. I'm just sad that they don't make them anymore. It seems like practicality has taken a back door to whatever looks cutesy or like you just rolled out of bed. And with the rise in cosplay, a lot of stuff has ears and tails and even feet on them. And I just don't have a desire to look like Ralphie in A Christmas Story. But hopefully you guys have your comfy clothes on and you've got your beverage of choice and your snacky snack. If you're wearing a dragon's tail or fluffy ears, then you're listening to the wrong station. I don't have a clippy clip of the next story I'm going to share with you tonight, but have you heard about the woman who's gone viral for treating baby dolls like they're human? Yes, folks, that's a new trend. The Dolls Aren't Real channel has 195,000 subscribers. So aside from humans riding hobby horses in indoor competitions, LGBTQ people acting like dogs and having mock dog competitions, furry conventions, and people making various video content about how they identify as a kitten or other animal. We have this lady that is on a mission to normalize role-playing with dolls, in which she pretends to wake her babies and school-age dolls up in the morning, get them actual food, pack their backpacks, make them breakfast, talk to them, and tell them that they've forgotten their soccer equipment, and all sorts of other absolute insanity. And while from a psychological healing perspective, because that's what I do, is I help to heal people that have suffered from different traumas, whether it be spiritual, mental, physical, or emotional, I could sort of understand role-playing with a baby doll if you've lost your actual child. I'm not saying that I think that is a good way to heal, but I could understand why someone may do that until they get through the trauma. It's definitely not something I would recommend, and I would hope that most practitioners out there would not encourage, but I can sort of grasp that. This woman has come under fire. There were a couple other videos that I saw where people were commenting on her videos. Now, keep in mind, just like my stuff, if it's up for public consumption, then you open yourselves up for anybody to be able to go and comment on your site or do a video talking about their perspective on what it is that you're sharing. It's public content, so everybody has a right to their opinion, and some people have made some videos critiquing her behavior and emphasizing the fact that they also do not feel this is normal, nor is it healthy. This woman seems to take on alter personalities in which she pretends to be the children talking and makes the dolls move and pretends that they are actually engaging in different activities, which is actually why I chose not to share the video, because her voice alone is like nails on a chalkboard, and then when she pretends to be the children and the screeching, it doesn't work for me. So I watched a YouTube video where one woman in particular is critiquing this woman, and she seems very grounded in her approach and in her opinion. And she's also adamant in her conclusion that this is not normal behavior. Well, with that, the doll woman responded and said that she eats the food that she pretends to prepare for the children's breakfasts and lunch boxes for school on her lunch, and that the formula that she uses to prepare every morning to feed her doll babies is expired, and that she is married and has a blended family with the youngest child, I think, being 16 years of age, and they all support her in her endeavors because she claims to be a content creator who is approaching role-playing with dolls as an artistic outlet, and that she uses the bedroom/nursery as her stage for her content videos, in which she has walk-in closets filled with clothes for these babies and regular nursery furniture and shelves and drawers filled with diapers and sippy cups and toddler silverware and plates. And she states that she is trying to normalize the hobby of role-playing with dolls. What I get from it is she is extremely mentally unstable, and I'm definitely getting some spiritual issue vibes. And I think this is just another wacko platform for these guys to be able to justify acting like children and mentally depraved adults. Mental illness is a very big concern in this country, and since we closed down all of the institutions, albeit when I was in college, I personally toured one of those places, and I will not deny the fact that they were horrendous and that the care that these people were given was absolutely subpar and potentially abusive in some situations. And in fact, I worked with the developmentally disabled who were moved from some of those institutions to personal group homes, and I saw firsthand what they had encountered and read their histories as to being raped by people that were caregivers there and guards on the premises and things like that. So I'm not saying that that is the answer to go back to the way that it was, but there has to be something else that we can do to help these people recognize that they have real issues and get them the treatment that they need in a safe environment without allowing this to become something that's another trend and be normalized, because it absolutely is not normal behavior and it's not healthy behavior. And it takes a person that may have a shot at being somewhat of a productive member of society and just lets them go down that crazy rabbit hole. In fact, the woman admits to having a very successful, I believe it was a children's clothing line before she gave up her career to, I don't know, do this. Maybe she sold her company. She got a really nice house. Obviously, they're not hurting for money. The house is gorgeous. She's got the best of everything for her baby dolls. And while I can appreciate checking out of the corporate lifestyle, there has to be something else that maybe would satisfy her that she could contribute to society in a positive manner with. But that's her life choice. I'm saying that there needs to be a more effective strategy at finding and diagnosing these people and helping them to understand, as with all aspects of society, that if we all worked together in a more productive manner and helped each other and didn't worry about what our baby doll was going to have for breakfast, maybe grow some food in a community garden to legitimately help your neighbors that are breathing, or I don't know, something totally outside these people's thought processes, like working together as one to stop the amounts of freedom that's being taken away in our country so that you do have the right in your spare time to stay home and play with your baby dolls. Provided, of course, that they're subsidizing their own ventures with their own money and not relying on the system to do so, which leads me to another question. The way my mind works is she claiming these kids on her taxes? I don't know. I digress. Let's get into the intro for the Clippies. And before some of you ask, I'm not even going to address the whole Alexa doesn't have a Christmas when people ask what day is Christmas this year or when is Christmas this year, and it's all Trump's fault, because they took what he said out of context just like they always do. He said something very close to that statement back in like 2023 when he was referring to the Biden administration, and yes, he said something similar to that that recently, but Trumpy can be dramatic. And when he says this might be your last Christmas, it's back in 2023, it was referring to the Biden administration and their policies and how things were going with them. And when he said it most recently, it was a printed statement, like a tweet that he put out. I read it, and he was referring to the people that were going to get in trouble for the stuff that they were doing regarding the Epstein things and telling them to enjoy what might be their last Christmas. In other words, he was indicating that they were going to get put in jail or arrested or whatever. And he also mentioned the slanted reporters in that statement. As far as Alexa goes, it's probably a Muslim that's running the numbers that just didn't put it in there or something stupid like that. Or some people are saying it's a bug, but either way, when I Google it and when I do ChatGPT, it comes up, Christmas falls on Friday, December 25th, 2026. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but the internet is not informing us anymore. It's just emotionally ambushing us. Every day I open my phone. All right, what flavor of apocalypse today? And the phone's like church money, radiation fog, AI judges, diapers, go. So here we go. Let's start off light. Britney Spears, America's canary in the pop culture coal mine, is in the underground news again because people online are now saying her ex-manager Lou Taylor allegedly funneled 10% of Britney's money to a church. 10%. That's not a tithe, that's a subscription plan. But the church happened to be Calvary Chapel, the one tied to Erica and Charlie Kirk. Now look, I'm not saying anything definitive here. I'm saying when pop stars, churches, and management contracts overlap, it smells like a spreadsheet Jesus would not approve of. And then I have a clippy where the fog shows up. Not cute fog, not your romantic San Francisco postcard fog. This fog has lore. People start pulling receipts from the 1950s, Manhattan Project experiments, radioactive fog tests, a black neighborhood in St. Louis allegedly sprayed with cadmium by the army, which is wild because America's strategy used to be, let's see what happens. Fast forward to now, Navy finds a plutonium leak in California last fall, and suddenly the fog is so thick you can see it from space. They're calling it radiation fog. That's not weather, that's a Marvel origin story.
He's looking at you, kid. Hello, my dear.
And have you heard the story about the guy online who claims he's stuck in France in the year 2055 and he's sending videos? Which immediately raises questions like, who's paying for his data plan? Does 2055 still have TikTok? And if you're trapped in the future, why France? Nothing against France, but if I time slip, I want answers and snacks. And for one clippy I have tonight, it's actually a real movie preview for Mercy, the AI movie. It's a little bit too on the nose. It's an AI-powered judicial system, supposed to be fair, turns on its inventor, and everybody watching went, why does this feel like a soft launch? Because AI in movies used to be metaphorical. Now it's like, hey, we're just previewing features. That's not sci-fi, it's beta testing. And maybe I'm late to the party, no pun intended on this one, but people seriously wore diapers in Times Square on New Year's Eve? Not babies, adults? Nothing says civilization is thriving quite like grown people saying, I will not lose my spot for a bathroom. That's not celebration, that's siege mentality. And in one clippy, there's a headline going around saying the FBI asked people to stop solving cases before they do. A quick reality check. That was satire, parody. But the scary part? Everybody believed it for a second because the bar is underground. And the political clips just keep on stacking up. Among some that I have this evening, Mamdani appointed a lawyer with an extremely controversial past in New York City. He hasn't even been sworn in a week, and already, even liberals like De Niro, who used to support him, are leaving New York City.
Listen to me very carefully. There are three ways of doing things around here. The right way, the wrong way, and the way that I do it.
Well, obviously it's not sticking around and fighting for your city. Yep, some tough guy you turned out to be, huh? Bobby? Hey, did you guys also hear? I don't have a clippy on this one, but Kathy Hochul orders New York landmarks, including the One World Trade Center, to be lit green for Muslim American Heritage Month, which she's deemed happens to be this month, January. I hope New Yorkers go and buy every single store out of bacon and boost the sales and rescue all the dogs in the shelters. And even though I don't typically condone this, I say have at it, women. Dress as scantily as you're able to in these freezing New York temperatures. And get yourself a pot-bellied pig for protection. And a German Shepherd named Killer. And parade with your gay friends around Central Park while eating sausage and peppers out of a deli wrapper. Let's do this month up right, shall we? And I got a clippy about the recall of cold and flu meds. Boom. Great. So now when people are sick, their options are tea, vibes, and raw suffering. Nothing builds confidence like realizing half the medicine cabinet is a maybe. I've also got a clippy about neomycin causing deafness in hearing issues. And they put it in the flu shots. And then they got the doctors telling the patients that if you're 60 or over, you need to get a flu shot every year. Now you know why Uncle Vinny tells you he's never played whack-a-mole when you ask him for a piece of gubba-gole. And of course I have clippies about the fake daycares and the snugglies. Nick Shirley drops videos about fake daycare fraud, which hits a nerve because kids, money, trust. That's the holy trinity of people get mad fast. And then clips surface of a Minnesota mayor speaking Somali at a press conference. A mayor in Lawrence, Massachusetts needs a translator to speak English, and people aren't asking cultural questions. They're asking practical ones. How do you protect people if you can't communicate with them in the language the laws are written in? That's not hate, that's logistics. Stay tuned. I also have a clippy about Dan Bongino who's stepping down from the FBI role. People are mad, like, so what was that? Half of them are saying because his life was at risk or he saw too much from the Epstein files and couldn't deal with the stress. The other half are like he was dirty. I'll let you decide. After hearing the clip that I'm bringing to the table, you may not have heard this one. So it isn't just left versus right anymore, it's clarity versus confusion. People aren't crazy, they're overstimulated. And when information comes in as a fog, people start seeing shapes that may or may not be there. So no, I don't know if the fog is radioactive, if the guy's really in 2055, or if AI is about to sentence us for jaywalking. But I do know this. If you want people calm, give them transparency. Because when you don't, they'll fill in the blanks themselves. And they'll do it on the internet. Okay, let's kick it off with some politics. Massachusetts politics from Braden Sorbo and the Nate Friedman Show.
She's sitting around and boy, why don't you settle down? Boston ain't your kind of town.
There's a lot happening across the world right now, but you guys need to see this, and the media is hiding it for a reason. Brian DePina, the elected mayor of Lawrence, Massachusetts, a town in America, can't speak English. We found this out because during a congressional hearing yesterday, he requested a translator, and the judge had this to say.
The division has a concern and has raised an objection based on the fact that counsel, much like me in my capacity as a hearing officer, don't speak Spanish, and therefore we're unable to decide independently whether questions are being translated both directions from the attorney and from the witness accurately.
This is an elected official representing Americans in America, where the official language is English, who doesn't speak English. His literal website has where he come from in his about section. That's how bad at English this guy is. He couldn't even hire someone who spoke English to build his website. The mayor of Lawrence, Massachusetts needs a translator to tell him what the policies he's signing off for his constituents say. That's crazy. I didn't think that this would be a controversial take, but apparently it is. In order to serve office in America, you should be from America and proficient in English. Pretty basic criteria.
Don't come to Boston.
Ew, that's odd.
This is a nice facility. Private property, you're trespassing. You have to leave when you're arrested.
Can I know who it belongs to?
Yeah, let's go.
You're gonna call 911 already?
Trespassing.
My name is John Featherstone. I'm a former migrant shelter director in Massachusetts. It was the biggest mistake of my life. The biggest mistake of my life.
You believe Maura Healey should be prosecuted?
I believe Maura Healey should go to jail for the rest of her life for the crimes that she's committed, yes. The governor's first priority is to protect the people. Once they came to Massachusetts, because she invited them, she was responsible for them. She's covered up rapes, she's covered up crimes, she's covered up sex trafficking, she's covered up drug dealing. That we're not even talking about the financial piece. At its capacity, I will tell you there were 550 people there. 150 rooms, 4 people to a room. Back a year ago, I would have 10 empty rooms, but the state would still get billed $180 a night for those 10 empty rooms. They would still get billed for the meals in those rooms too. So there is a tremendous amount of waste and or fraud. But this is government subsidized housing. There's no other way to describe it. Your taxpayers, the taxpayers are paying for everything that goes inside these 4 walls. So it's not private property. the fact that they're this defensive a year after this has become like a national story because a man, impregnated his own daughter in the shelter, it's quite obviously they got something to hide. So there's a lot of domestic violence inside these shelters. It's a cultural thing. A lot of Haitian men don't have a lot of respect for women, it seems like. So there's often a lot of physical violence. There's a lot of women-on-women violence in these shelters. So the police would come all the time. When I had reports of like sex trafficking, they would come, drug dealing, they would come, a lot of prostitution in that parking lot. I would talk to police officers and I'd be like, hey, I know this car is not registered. I know it's not insured. What are you going to do about it? Well, if it was you, I'd arrest you. If it's them, I just let it go. Why? Well, the governor wants this, and the governor has come down and given us a mandate that, we don't give the migrants a hard time, and we don't, arrest them because they don't have driver's license. We just give them stern talking. You don't know what's going on because the legacy media is quite obviously afraid of the governor. The governor has told them, don't report on this. You don't see these stories by the local media. You only see them by the national media. And guys like you, doing the real journalism. We've lost our way. We've lost our way. We're not taking care of veterans. We're not taking care of low-income seniors. But we're giving everything free to migrants.
Please come to Boston, she said no. Do you come home to me?
My pappy used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is broke, get a hold of Maggie Heart at MAGGIE_HEART at outlook.com to get it fixed.
Next up, the Mamdani Files with Jacqueline from New York City, the Midnight 123, and Becky Weiss.
Do you know what is happening in New York? It's not what you think. New Yorkers did not choose Zoran Mamdani. Foreign influence did. They say that New Yorkers got what we deserved, that we voted for this. No, we didn't. Here's the data. 62% of foreign-born voters backed Zoran Mamdani, as opposed to 31% of American-born voters. And it wasn't just votes. Zoran's campaign took money from overseas addresses flowing into a local New York City election. This is the strategy. Foreign voting blocs plus global cash streams reshaping the power city by city. You saw it in Minnesota and you're seeing it in New York City. This is the playbook. It is not organic. What it is a global power grab between the CCP and Arab oil nations to exploit America's open system from the inside and remake our cities.
Oh, New York, you guys are sold with this new mayor. Breaking news just coming in. Zoran Mamdani appoints new top lawyer for New York City, who is famous for defending Al-Qaeda terrorists. It is now confirmed that he has appointed controversial lawyer Ramzi Qassem, who defended Al-Qaeda terrorist Ahmed al-Darbi in court. He is now appointed as the city's top attorney. But you see, everything to me is starting to come full circle. Listen to me very carefully when I tell you this. Billions upon billions of dollars have been funneled out of Minnesota, potentially, allegedly, over to Somalia, over to the terrorist groups, possibly, allegedly, in the hands of Al-Qaeda. So is it interesting, or is it just a coincidence that New York City's now top attorney is a defender of this terrorist organization, now appointed by New York City's mayor-elect, Zoran Mamdani? So now what I would tell you is, if you follow the money and see how deep this rabbit hole actually goes, who was the real money backer for Zoran Mamdani's campaign to be the next mayor of New York City? Do you guys also remember that piece of Mahmoud Khalil? Oh, you remember him, the one that just camped out at Columbia University with all of his anti-Semitic ranting and raving, and standing over there on top of the stairs over there at Columbia University, refusing to wave the American flag, but he had no problem standing up there yelling, "Free, free Palestine." Well, guess which lawyer represented him as well? Ramzi Qassem. New York, you guys are Muslim mayor. We'll see in a couple of days if he swears in on the Bible. Top attorney that's going to now represent New York City, a supporter of Al-Qaeda, the very same terrorist organization that screams death to America. Lillian Bonsignor, the next fire commissioner of New York City that has never fought a fire in her life. But I made it very clear to every single one of you when I started this journey, is that I give Zoran Mamdani 6 months. I figured by June he's going to f this city up so bad that I will put my candidacy in to be the next mayor of New York. And I will fix every single thing that this mayor is about to break.
Hey folks, here's the story about Mamdani the Mucha.
Zoran Mamdani just swore in on the Quran. Yay, he's so progressive. Super progressive. Let's learn what the Quran says. Per the Quran, men may have up to 4 wives whom they have complete authority over, but women may only have 1 husband. Women are not allowed to refuse intimacy with their husbands, and oh, by the way, the Quran actually instructs the husbands to beat their wives for disobedience. Furthermore, the Quran permits men to marry pre-pubescent girls and then consummate the marriage once the man decides that the girl is physically able to tolerate it. The Quran also establishes a legal inequality between men and women. Women are not treated as equals, they are treated as lesser than. There's more, but we're going to move along to Islamic law, which stems from the Quran, which allows for the death penalty for gays and the abuse of women at the discretion of their husbands. Ultra progressive. That's your guy right there. That's what you voted for. Oh wait, there's more. The Quran also explicitly calls for violence against non-believers. Here are a few references you can pause and read. Fitna is worse than killing. What is fitna, you ask? Well, fitna is unbelief or the resistance to Islamic dominance and authority. It is better to kill people than to allow fitna, again, unbelief or resistance to Islamic dominance and authority. And liberals, progressives, that's your guy. That's your guy. Do you have any understanding of what it is you are cheering for? Clearly not.
Next up from Wesley Austin 2, Amjedi and Miss Mischief 09, the mayor of Minnesota breaks out into Somali at a press conference. Somalis are opening fake child care centers and medical centers and are robbing the government for funding. Nick Shirley is the guy that's getting famous for going around and investigating them and calling them out. And in the last video, some other guy calls the number for one of those daycares, and you'll never believe who it comes back to.
ICE shows up and boom, the mayor stops speaking English. ICE agents are descending on Minneapolis to crack down on illegal Somali immigrants with a push of more than 100 ICE agents. Here is Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry's response.
Somaliyeed ku nool Minnesota gaar ahaan Minneapolis waan ku janilahay waan ku.
I think he said press 1 for English, press 2 if you're already committing fraud. Look, if your mayor is speaking Somali during a $1 billion Somali fraud scandal, maybe that's a clue.
ICE oo kale inuu yahay ama uu yahay askari oo aan hubin inuu askari run yahay qof kasta iska soo xiran kara dharka waxaan ku leenahay waxa ina soo wacda Minneapolis police.
You know you've lost the city when the police press conference needs subtitles and a Duolingo subscription.
Oh, how do you enroll your children here? You can't do that? No kids? So how can I enroll my children? It says you get public money through. You get public money through Ohio. You get money through the state of Ohio. This is a money that gets.
So conservative immigrant checked out one of Nick Shirley's videos for one of the daycare centers in the video, and he called it. And listen to this.
Guys, this is absolutely mind-blowing. So I was watching the most recent video by Nick Shirley exposing these daycare centers. Now, there daycare to daycare, and the next one that they go to is called Sweet Angel Childcare. This is where they show up to, and this is the business right here, Sweet Angel Childcare in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now listen to where this phone number goes to when you call this childcare center. Just wait for it.
Thank you for contacting the office of Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Maggie Flanagan. Our office is located.
You guys, we're gonna call. Okay. Sweet Angel Childcare, Minnesota. Okay, here it is. Let's call. Call.
Thank you for contacting the office of Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Maggie Flanagan.
Y'all, they are playing in our faces. This is insane.
You've been trolled, yes, you've probably been told.
Next up, the real Brit Hughes has a clippy of one of these Somali daycares that's trying to say that they were broken into and only their records were stolen.
Now, this is where they say the vandals got into the daycare through cinder block. The manager claims those who broke in went straight to the office, stealing information of the many children who were taken care of here.
Unfortunately, we saw that there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. Checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book.
You're telling me this dude is the manager of a daycare. And you're telling me that that daycare just got broken into through a cinder block wall, and the only thing the thieves took were the documents that could prove or disprove that this is in fact a fraudulent business. Let me ask you something. Did the thieves also scream, "This is MAGA country"? Was one of them carrying a rope? Never in the history of crime has a burglar broken into a business and stolen personnel records, parent information, and half a checkbook. Honestly, I don't know if these people are stupid or if they just think we are.
You've been trolled, yes, you've probably been told.
Next up, from Shots by Matta, some information on Bongino you may not have been aware of. I'm going to let you listen and make up your own minds on that one. And then after that, Bongino on Fox News talking about how difficult his job was.
The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and possibly her pets, who occasionally walk across the keyboard, jingle their collars, drink some water when they can't steal mom's coffee, growl while wrestling with their siblings, and even snore at high volumes when they feel slighted and are bored. Any resemblance to actual facts is purely coincidental, and this show is solely for entertainment purposes only. Wink, wink, nod, nod. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, sometimes our brains run on coffee and wishful thinking, and possibly a conspiracy theory or two. This broadcast may contain traces of sarcasm, bad puns, and music to make you dance. Side effects may include spontaneous laughter, eyebrow raises, and the uncontrollable urge to sing along. Listen responsibly.
So when we talk about the Trump administration and how everybody's absolutely disappointed, his approval ratings are at all-time lows, the MAGA party's fracturing, I think the one curveball that we didn't expect, the one person we never thought would crash out would have been Bongino. But my friend Ariel over here, he goes by @ProLot, ARIO1 over on X. He's going to break it down, and if this is true, it'll make a lot of things make sense. So check this out. He says, want me to tell you a secret? This is why we must leave all of the popular figureheads behind in 2026. Dan Bongino built his entire brand as the loudest anti-deep state warrior, screaming daily on his podcast about FBI corruption and Epstein cover-ups, positioning himself as the people's champion while cashing massive, cumulus media checks and Epstein-tied advertiser dollars that kept his show afloat. Dig deeper into the archive 4chan/poll/threads from 2022 to 2024, and you'll find leaked payroll stubs tracing Bongino's production company receipts to shell entities linked to Black Cube, the Israel intel firm hired by Harvey Weinstein to silence accusers. Same firm that ran surveillance on Epstein post-2019. Bongino never once mentioned Black Cube's role in protecting pedo networks despite exposing everything else, because his handlers fed him scripted outrage that stopped short of naming their real players. Dark webs dropped from hacked Cumulus servers show Bongino's contract riders demanding final edit approval on any Epstein segment, ensuring no mention of Israel/Mossad ties that ran the island operation. His sudden retirement from radio in 2023 coincided with leaked audio of him threatening staff over unapproved Ghislaine Maxwell questions, proving the Hero Act was gated to protect the hidden hands running compromised ops on conservative media. Bongino ain't fighting the swamp. He's the controlled pit bull, barking loud enough to drown out any real whistleblowers while herding MAGA anger into dead ends. Whoa. Now, let me tell you from a little experience about Bongino's interactions with Kyle Seraphin and these whistleblowers, and then watching Bongino turn his back on Kyle Seraphin and gas up Julie Kelly. I would like you, maybe I'll ask Kyle Seraphin to drop some comments below and let me know what he thinks about Bongino and how Bongino played these whistleblowers. Hook, line, and sinker. Bongino actually sent Steve Friend a text message right when he got appointed and basically said, get your stuff ready, we're bringing you back in, we're going to clean house. And you want to know who they brought back in? Zero. To this day, Kyle Seraphin, Steve Friend, Garrett O'Boyle haven't received reinstatement, haven't received back pay, haven't received it so much as a thank you from these cowards in the FBI. You think the Epstein files are coming? Good luck with that. They're only from 2005 and earlier, guys. Come on.
I mean, I gave up everything for this. I mean, you know, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. You know, I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., you know, by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, you know, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You straighten out the FBI, you're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
I got one more thing.
Next up, it's conspiracy theory time with a triple shot from A Truth for You, Conspiracy Collective, and Real Weird Time. We're talking Britney Spears, The Fog, and the guy who claims to be stuck in France in 2055.
What the hell is going on, America? Someone tell me, please. If you want to know the irony in what I'm about to tell you, click on this comment and it'll take you directly to that video. Now you're probably wondering, why are you doing a video reply on the topic of Britney Spears when this comment was on a video about Charlie Kirk? Let me explain. Yesterday I made a post on Facebook and Instagram. In this post, all I'm doing is literally reiterating claims that Candace Owens is making. Just the fact that Erica and Charlie Kirk were devoted members of Calvary Chapel Brentwood Church. The pastor of that church is Rob Taylor. His wife is Lou Taylor. Sound familiar? Now it's alleged that Lou Taylor, Britney Spears' ex-manager, funneled 10% of her earnings from the conservatorship to the church. So what Candace is basically claiming is that Britney Spears funded the church that Erica Kirk and Charlie were members of. And it looks a little bit more sus considering that Jamie Spears, Britney's father, was baptized with Lou Taylor by Rob Taylor, her husband. This is where things get even weirder, at least for me. Last night I get back on Instagram to check who liked the video, the comments on the video, and who do I see? Brittany Aldean. Now it really made me wonder, why would Jason Aldean's wife, Brittany, like a post like that? The kind of things that make you go, Now there's actually a lot more to Christian or 70th birthday party guest list aside from Lou Taylor. There was a lot of symbolism that people missed, and those that attended that correlated to the symbolism. But for that, you'll have to let me know if you even want a part 2. Might be worth it.
Way bigger, and the more you look into it, the more it seems like maybe these things just didn't end.
It's almost obvious that there is no facts in this video, and it's for entertainment value only. Check this out. In the early 1950s, in the midst of the experiments for the Manhattan Project, they went across the country and secretly sprayed different neighborhoods. One of these neighborhoods specifically was a predominantly black neighborhood in St. Louis. They described it as a thick fog that the kids used to run through to entertain themselves.
Now to a News Nation exclusive investigation into a secret government experiment that was carried out in St. Louis. Residents tell us they still remember a mysterious fog. Children would run through it. Mothers would try and close their windows against it. For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army now admits that it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen, on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people.
And like I said, they did this kind of thing across the United States. And when people asked any questions, they released a statement saying, "Don't worry, this fog has far below dangerous levels of anything that can hurt you." Now let's go to our present day. I'm sure anything that looks similar to this whole thing is just a coincidence, right? My last video, I told you, the U.S. Navy found a leak of plutonium in a shipyard. They found it in November of last year and didn't tell anybody till recently. And it's not just in San Francisco Bay, but we also got this mysterious radioactive anomaly under the Pacific Ocean as well. But anyway, San Francisco, big radiation leak. Nobody did anything about it for a year. And now we currently got this going on, which I'm sure has nothing to do with it.
We were seeing the thickest fog out of the entire state across the Bay Area early this morning. So I kind of wanted to just take a step back. First of all, explain why fog forms and the types of fog that we're seeing. Again, early this morning, as you can tell, the Bay Area, definitely the most widespread, the thickest of the fog. This is our view literally from space. So yeah, the fog was so thick that you can see it from space.
So thick you can see it from space. A 400-mile long blanket of something they're calling radiation fog. I'm sure that's just a coincidence though, right? But you know what? I'm probably reaching with this whole thing. I mean, it's not like they haven't already done something like this before. Y'all stay safe.
Man says he's stuck in France in the year 2055.
This guy claims he's stuck in France in the year 2055 and can't find a way back. And everything he shows in his videos looks disturbingly unreal. For several years now, he's been posting clips that depict a future completely devoid of people. The footage shows empty streets and total silence. The roads are deserted, yet vending machines and terminals are still working, as if the country itself still exists, but its population has completely vanished. In some videos, he walks into stores and shows shelves full of video games made for the PlayStation 7. Even more unsettling, every single game on display is designed for that console, a system that doesn't even exist in our time. One detail in particular really alarmed viewers. A nearly empty vending machine with just one bottle left inside. The date on it is clearly visible, April 2055. According to him, it's a drink that hasn't even been released yet in our present day. Even more disturbing is the moment when he enters the Louvre and films the Mona Lisa from up close. The room is completely empty. No guards, no tourists, as if time itself has frozen. He does the same with the Eiffel Tower, showing it surrounded by absolute silence and emptiness. What makes the story even more unsettling is the fact that he started posting these videos long before the explosion of AI and modern visual tools.
Next up, we've talked about how movies are predictive programming. This is an actual commercial for the new movie Mercy.
My name is Detective Christopher Raven. I'm proud to introduce Mercy, a judicial system powered by artificial intelligence.
He thought he created the perfect system until it turned on him.
You're charged with the murder of your wife. If you are innocent, prove it, or you will be executed.
I need to find out who killed my wife.
You have access to every camera, cell phone, and database.
Bring that back. Pause. Can you find out who that is?
You must move from one piece of the puzzle to the next.
No, I have something here.
Oh my God. Mercy. Rated PG-13. Only in theaters January 23rd.
Pretty freaky stuff, huh? Next up from Nick Jackson and the Hannah Faulkner Show, the recall on over-the-counter prescription medications and neomycin in the flu jab causes deafness. Listen and see.
This is literally insane, but there are cold and flu medicines right now from brands like Dayquil, NyQuil, Tylenol, Advil, and Benadryl that's being urgently recalled after they just discovered rodent feces. I'm not even kidding with you right now. This is not a joke. It's happening right now. Multiple cold and flu medications that were sold nationwide are being pulled from shelves after investigators found evidence of rodent contamination. We are literally talking about medications that people take every single day. Dayquil, NyQuil, Tylenol, cold and flu, Advil, Benadryl, Motrin. These are some of the most common medicines in America. This initial recall was just found and triggered after inspections found signs of rodent and contamination risk, which is why this is classified as a serious recall. What obviously makes this even worse is the timing, because this is happening during peak cold and flu seasons when millions of people are actively using these medications without realizing that they're even under a recall. This is not like a normal recall where I'm able to provide you with the lot numbers and the best by dates to look out for, because officials are saying that the recalled products were distributed through Gold Star Distribution Facility. This is where the specific contamination was found, and they're saying that you need to check your packaging or your retailer to make sure that you don't have the products from that facility. Check your medicine and obviously share this video to as many people as you can so that they can see it, and I will be posting updates as more details come out.
Neomycin and kanamycin, all of you go look it up. Go to pubmed.gov. That's where all the published medical literature on the earth is. Go look, pubmed.gov, and type in neomycin and kanamycin, which are in 7 of the 9 flu vaccines that you didn't even know there was 9 different ones every single year. Kanamycin and neomycin within 24 hours of being injected into mammals, including humans. I show the research studies everywhere. Neomycin and kanamycin is published within 48 hours. When it gets inside the bloodstream of a person after getting a vaccine, it goes into the inner ear canal and it paralyzes their nerves that hear. And it triggers tinnitus that leads to lifelong deafness. Ask your doctor if neomycin and kanamycin poisoning to lead to lifelong permanent hearing loss is right for you. And all of you seniors out there watching this, remember when you turned 60 years old, your medical doctor told you you have to get a flu shot every single year. And guess what's happened to the majority of all seniors, Hannah? From the time they're older than 60, what happens to their hearing? The majority of all of you have deafening tinnitus. You then go deaf. You then have to wear hearing aids, or now you're going to be sold cochlear implants, which cost tens of thousands of dollars. And the medical profession has created an incredible stream of revenue by selling you hearing aids, cochlear implants, and surgeries, never telling you that they injected you with the exact thing they knew would cause.
Okay. Just a little pinprick. There'll be no more. But you make me a little sick.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
Get off my lawn. Listen, old man, you don't want me? Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn now.
Since we're talking health and coughs and colds and flu, the next one from Brain Teaser Nation has an easy fix for your cough.
With you guys, because it is a game changer. Something seems to be going around lately, some kind of upper respiratory cough, and my daughter's been sick with it for the past couple of days. It's not COVID, it's not the flu, it's not RSV, it's not anything like that, but it's like this gross kind of mucusy cough. She'll get in these coughing fits, right? And nothing seems to work. I gave her honey, I gave her tea, I sat her in front of a humidifier. And thanks to this app, okay, that the United States wants to ban, I found the only thing that works and need to share that information with you. Marshmallows. I know, it sounds crazy, but marshmallows. Apparently, the gelatin in the marshmallow helps to suppress the cough. I am mind blown right now. It's been a couple of hours and she hasn't coughed once, knock on wood, but I wanted to share this information with you because, holy crap. So if this video hit your FYP for any reason because you're suffering from some hacking cough right now.
No! It can't be. What is it? It can't be. What did you do, Ray? Oh.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Now, I haven't tried that one yet, so you'll have to try it yourself and see, but I can tell you that the actual marshmallow root, which is not in the marshmallows, does help. And that's been around for a couple hundred years. You can get it in a tea, in a lozenge, syrups, and the little capsules. Some health food stores will have it dried so that you can make your own tincture or tea. Elderberry syrup is amazing for colds and flus and coughs. The old go-to, of course, chicken soup does really help. Plenty of fluids and vitamin C, but also pineapple juice. The bromelain in pineapple juice is a miracle cure. I have personally cured myself from pneumonia twice using only 3 items, and one of them was pineapple juice. I used to drink an entire container once a day until I was cured. The second thing that I did was I ate an entire clove of organic garlic once a day, and then I had a chest rub that I got from a Native American medicine woman who I was very good friends with at the time, but she's since stopped practicing, and so now I use Amish Origins. You can get it directly from them online, and then of course I did water, lots and lots of water, and chicken soup. And if I ever got it again, I would throw in some elderberry syrup in there just for good measure. And I got plenty of rest. So if you're struggling with some of these recalled medications, those are things that will absolutely help you. I haven't taken a prescription medication in like 20 years. Hot tea and honey is also great, as is organic apple cider vinegar. If you find yourself with a stuffy nose, you can try taking a tiny bit of cayenne pepper on the end of your finger and sniffing it, but make sure that the cayenne doesn't get up into your nasal passages. And essential oils like eucalyptus and peppermint are great for clearing congestion. Don't put them on without a carrier oil though. So take a little tablespoon and put it in a couple of drops of olive oil or another carrier oil like almond oil. You can take a couple drops of oregano oil and put it on the soles of your feet, and that also, believe it or not, will help you if you have a cold or the flu. I can't do that. My body's too sensitive to the oil. I can eat oregano all day long, but I can't use the oil. So that's another thing too with the oils. Test a little bit on your skin. Do just a drop or two and test that. Make sure you don't have a reaction before you go slathering it all over your body. And you can diffuse the peppermint and eucalyptus in a diffuser too and breathe in the effects that way rather than put it on your skin if you don't want to use it as like a chest or muscle rub. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so I have to tell you that you probably should check with your medical professional before trying any of these methods, but those are things that have helped me. See that? I know lots of stuff. If you need some help with anything like that, mental, physical, spiritual, or emotional needs, get a hold of me at Maggie, MAGGIE_Heart, HEART @outlook.com. The website will be done soon. Oh, and since we're on the subject, are you a real estate agent or a content creator who feels like you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall with your marketing? You're an expert in your field. You shouldn't have to be an expert in algorithms too. Stop guessing and start growing. V. Smith Media takes the mystery out of your digital footprint. They don't do one size fits all. They have specific consulting packages designed just for your industry. Whether you're selling houses or running an online store or creating courses, webinars, podcasts, and books. Pick the package that fits your goals. Visit vsmithmedia.com to get you sorted. Next up, Happy New Year, courtesy of the Barada Babe, Jojo Scarlata, Cruise Shenanigans, and Davey87DP.
Oh God, I hate this guy. Happy New Year's! Happy New Year's. You made it. Oh yeah, you too. Happy New Year's.
As a native New Yorker, you will not catch me ever at Times Square for New Year's Eve. Okay? I just came across a video of a grown man, had to be at least in his mid-30s, possibly late 30s, saying he's wearing a diaper. Because once you get to wherever you got to get, if it's the front, if you leave to go to the bathroom, you lose your spot. So he'll be wearing a diaper for the duration. Just watch it on TV. Just watch it on TV if you care that much. You're gonna wear a diaper in public on New Year. How is that enjoyable? You're gonna soil yourself. So the confetti for Happy New Year, they're in your pants. It's been marinating there for quite some time. Are you out of your mind?
I've tried to like people, I really have. But then they start talking and breathing and stuff, and I don't like that. Do you ever look at a family member and just think, how am I related to this? Every family has at least one person who everyone else feels like they were just added to the group by accident. Like God hit shuffle on the family tree or something. You'll be sitting there at a holiday dinner watching them argue with the air, or tell a story with no ending, or make a life choice that defies physics, logic, and common sense. And you're like, there's no way we share DNA. Okay, so someone check the paperwork on this. And the best part, everyone else in the family just accepts it. They're like, oh, that's just how he is. Yeah, well, how he is concerning. So, meanwhile, you're over here doing emotional acrobatics, trying to figure out how your genetic code produced that. So, yeah, sometimes I just look at my relatives and think, wow, so this is why I'm tired all the time. Not trauma, just dissociation, but, hey, family's family. We can't pick them. We just silently judge them at every gathering and then talk about it on the drive home.
Next from Braden, Soro, and Shaman Hawk, the funding bill they're trying to pass through Senate. You're going to want to listen to this one.
Well, here's something the media hasn't told you. Everyone knows what's happening in Minnesota, right? Somalians stealing billions of taxpayer dollars in these healthcare fraud schemes, and, journalists busting it, and now even the mainstream media has finally been forced to pick up the story, right? It's one of the biggest stories in America right now. You know what's not a big story in America right now? The funding bill that's currently being pushed through the Senate that has over 400 pages in it. Just a couple of these pages are things like hundreds of millions of dollars for migrant programs or DEI initiatives, but the biggest one, the thing that stood out to me, was that the Senate is asking for $5.6 billion with a B for migrants that aren't even here yet. So they want to bring people to America that don't belong here and then give them taxpayer dollars that they don't deserve. It's also important to note that the senators voting on this don't have to live near the people that they're bringing in. So they can take our tax dollars, import problems, feed those problems, and give them our money, and then just retreat to their gated communities where they don't have to deal with the problems that they're creating. And they thought nobody would notice that this bill is being passed through secretly because everyone's distracted with Minnesota.
So wouldn't that be something if people just didn't file their taxes and just kept saying exempt for the next year after year after year, and then just never filed? But yet the government still found money to give to migrants, illegals who aren't here yet, or still supporting migrant programs, or still supporting Israel. Wouldn't that be something if allegedly the government wasn't collecting any money from we the people, but they still somehow had money to give to anybody but us?
Next up, while I play some promos, get your paper and pen for Revy's Kitchen's recipe. The entry music, sometimes my halftime music, and the ending music are all provided by my good buddy Pat Carr, a wonderful original musician from Louisiana, now residing in Colorado. You can check him out at http://www.itunes.com/Pat Carr. Pat's at AllMusic, Apple Music, YouTube, SoundClick, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. He is all over the place. Please check him out, support his music, and tell him Maggie sent you.
If you like Maggie and the sound of her voice and want to keep her airing quality shows, I'd be much obliged if you donate to the network, because those folks are dirt poor and rely on your contributions to keep the lights on.
The new year is a good excuse to start some healthier habits, so I wanted to reshare my easy sandwich bread recipe so you can stop buying it at the store. 3/4 cup warm water, 2 teaspoons active dry yeast, and 1 tablespoon sugar. Give it a mix and let it sit for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you should have this layer of foam. In my mixing bowl, I have 3 cups of flour, adding 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons olive oil, and 1 egg. Then add the yeast mixture. Then mix with a dough hook for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you should have a smooth dough ball like this. Add it to a greased bowl. Cover. Let it rest for 1 hour in a warm area of your house. I have quite the audience today. It's been an hour. Going to dump this out on a clean surface and just kind of shape it into like a rectangle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then just kind of roll it up. Just gonna place it in a greased loaf pan, seam side down. Cover and rest for 30 more minutes. It's been 30. Into the oven at 350. Taking it out after 30 minutes. I'm adding some butter on top while it's still hot. Okay, let it cool for about an hour. Perfect.
Next up from Married to a Lunatic, did the FBI really ask people not to solve cases for them before they did?
Are you interested in joining? I'll tell you, the benefits are fantastic. The trick is not to get killed. That's really the key to the benefit program.
The FBI is asking the public to stop solving crimes before they do. I don't even care if this is real or not because these comments are hilarious. No. Not a chance. My personal favorite, stop being useless and we wouldn't have to do your job for you. It's actually a thing. Looked up what are some cases that were solved by internet sleuths, thinking it was just going to be like this stuff that we've seen on Netflix. No, y'all, this is like a long list. It's thousands of cases that have been solved by just random people, including kidnappings, identifying an SKULL that was found in concrete, the Tammy Jo Alexander case, the cat killer case that was then turned into a Netflix documentary, thousands of missing persons who have now been identified, including a ton of other missing persons found bodies. Like, this is great. No wonder the FBI was at it, but like, why would they? I don't know if it's a joke. It was a funny joke, but this was crazy to see how many like random Joe Schmoes have actually solved cases.
Requisition order for a Ferrari? I don't want to see any more of these blue slips. We're not going to see some arrest slips.
I know that you're getting upset, and I know that you have reason to be upset, but let me tell you something, Chief. I am close. I'm so close now. I'm closer than I've been, and it's making me crazy because I can smell it. It's in the air, and I smell it. Do you smell it? Because I smell it.
All I smell is your bull.
Well, that's my show for tonight, folks. I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you're on Facebook, please like my Positude Podcast page and share it around. Also on YouTube or Rumble or wherever you listen. On YouTube, please like and subscribe to the Trim Radio Network Creator Studio, where you'll find all kinds of cool shows like Peter Kling's Revelation, which is Thursday nights Eastern Standard at 9, and the Red Pill Reality Show with my good buddy Rascala, Saturdays 9 Eastern to 12. If you're listening through ERRT, go to their webpage and check out the shows there. Stay safe out there, take care of each other, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Good night, everybody.